Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever looked at your kitchen counter and thought, I need something faster, maybe healthier, you've probably hit that big question. Air fryer or convection oven?
Oh, yeah. They both promise faster, maybe crispier food using hot air.
Yeah.
But they really aren't interchangeable at all.
Exactly. They get lumped together, but one's really a specialist, laser-focused, and the other's more of a versatile workhorse.
That's a good way to put it.
So today we're going to dive deep using the research and articles you brought to really pull apart the differences in how they're built, how much they hold, what they cost.
Right. The goal is for you, listening, to figure out which one actually makes sense for your kitchen, your cooking style.
Let's start with the one thing they genuinely share, the basic science, right?
Yeah, the core mechanism is the same. Both use what's called forced convection, fancy term, but it just means there's a fan blowing hot air around the food.
And that moving hot air is the key.
Absolutely. It speeds everything up. It strips moisture off the surface faster, helps with browning. That Maillard reaction everyone loves gets things crispy.
Okay, but how they apply that hot air is where they split paths immediately. Let's talk air fryer, the AF. It's usually that compact thing on the counter, maybe 2 to 10 quarts.
Right, small capacity. And it's really engineered for two things: speed and trying to mimic deep-fried texture without all the oil.
How does it get that speed? It feels almost instant sometimes.
Well, it's pretty aggressive mechanically. You've got a powerful heating element, often right up close to the food basket. And crucially, the fan in an air fryer spins much faster than in a convection oven.
Yeah.
It creates this super concentrated vortex of intense heat in that tiny space.
A heat hurricane, almost. Okay,
Yeah.
So if the AF is about intense localized heat, what's the convection oven, the CO, doing differently with the same physics?
The CO is all about evenness, consistency, but over a much larger area, whether it's a big built-in oven or one of those larger countertop models.
So the fan isn't as aggressive.
Exactly. It spins more gently, distributing the heat. The heating elements might be further away or spread out. The goal isn't that localized blast. It's making sure the temperature is pretty much the same on the top rack, the bottom rack, in the corners.
Maximum versatility, not maximum intensity in one spot.
Precisely. It's built for baking, roasting, things that need that stable, all-around heat.
That difference, intense and local versus broad and even, seems critical. Let's shift to how that plays out in size and speed. You said the air fryer's small size is key to its speed.
It really is. That small chamber, maybe 4 quarts or so, means it heats up incredibly fast, often zero preheat time needed, or maybe just a couple minutes.
Right.
So you toss in some frozen fries, maybe some chicken nuggets. The sources say you're looking at maybe 10-15 minutes from start to finish. It's pure convenience for 1 or 2 servings.
That sounds super efficient for just whipping up a snack. But the flip side is that small size, isn't it? You're not cooking for a crowd.
Definitely not. It's ideal for maybe 2 people, 4 at a push. If you need to make fries for 6 kids, you're doing batch after batch, which suddenly isn't very fast or efficient overall.
And that's where the convection oven comes in, built for volume.
Exactly. Countertop COs start bigger, maybe half a cubic foot up to 2 cubic feet or more. Built-ins are obviously even larger. They can handle multiple baking sheets, a big roast chicken, maybe even a small turkey.
So even though the COs takes longer to preheat and isn't as quick as the AF for, say, those fries,
But it loses that sprint.
it's still faster than a totally conventional oven, the kind without a fan.
Oh, absolutely. That fan circulation in a CO still speeds things up considerably compared to a regular oven. Usually cuts cooking times by maybe 20, even 30%, especially for baking and roasting.
Okay.
So yeah, the air fryer wins the 100-meter dash for a small plate of wings. But the convection oven wins the marathon when you need to roast veggies, bake some rolls, and cook a main course all for the same meal. Its size lets you do more at once.
So kitchen sprinter versus marathon runner. I like that. Okay, let's talk results, the actual food. Does the air fryer really nail that deep fried taste and texture?
It gets remarkably close considering how little oil you use. That super hot, fast-moving air is brilliant at drying out the surface of the food very quickly.
It's hydration, essentially.
Exactly. Rapid surface dehydration. So any tiny amount of oil you do use gets to work crisping things up really intensely. You get that golden, crunchy exterior. The sources mention 70-80% less oil than deep frying.
Wow.
For snacks, reheating pizza, making wings or fries crispy, it's fantastic. It's the king of crunch for those kinds of things.
But there's always a but, isn't there? That intense directional heat must have downsides. What happens if you try to bake something delicate like a cake?
Oh, usually a mess, yeah. The heat is just too focused, too aggressive from one direction, often the top.
So the top burns before the middle cooks.
Pretty much. You end up with something that's maybe dried out, maybe even burnt on the outside and top, while the inside is still dense or undercooked.
Yeah.
Cakes, muffins, soufflés. They need gentle, even heat to rise properly and cook through. The air fryer's physics just aren't suited for that.
And that's where the convection oven's gentle, consistent heat becomes the hero.
That's its strength.
Yeah.
It sacrifices that ultimate, maybe slightly artificial crispiness you get from an AF for reliable, even cooking across the board.
Right.
Roasting vegetables evenly, baking a casserole without hot spots, getting a cake layer that's cooked through without a domed, cracked top that's CO territory. You get dependable results for a huge range of foods, even if they don't taste fried.
It's interesting, too, how the physical shape limits things. That air fryer basket. You can't really arrange things artfully, can you? You're mostly just dumping things in.
That's a really good point about versatility. You're limited by that basket or drawer. You can't easily slide in a standard baking dish or a casserole pan. Complex recipes are tough.
Whereas the convection oven is basically, well, an oven.
Right. It uses standard racks, trays. You can bake, roast, broil. Many countertop models even add functions like dehydrating or slow cooking. And crucially, using multiple racks means you can cook different parts of a meal at the same time. Potatoes below, chicken above, that sort of thing.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense. Let's get down to the real practicalities. Effort, energy use, and the cost. How much work are these things day to day?
Well, if your main goal is minimizing hassle, especially cleanup, the air fryer often wins.
Easier to clean.
Generally, yeah. The controls are usually super simple dials or basic digital buttons. But the big thing is that removable basket or drawer, it's almost always non-stick and dishwasher safe. So cook your fries, pull out the basket, quick wipe maybe, toss into the dishwasher. Done. That low-effort cleanup makes you more likely to actually use it often.
The convection oven, on the other hand.
Yeah.
I'm picturing scrubbing greasy racks.
That's often the reality, especially with larger countertop or built-in models. The controls can be more complex, too, with different modes and settings. And, yeah, if you roast a chicken or something fatty, you get spatter inside a much bigger cavity. You've got racks, maybe glass doors, trays. Yeah. It's just more surface area to clean. And those parts might not be dishwasher safe. It's definitely a bigger time commitment.
Okay, what about running costs? Energy use. There must be a big difference given the size difference.
Oh, absolutely. It tracks directly with the size and the intensity. The air fryer is pretty energy efficient for what it does. It runs typically between, say, 800 and 1500 watts. And because it heats up so fast and cooks quickly for small portions, the total energy used per cooking cycle is quite low.
Makes sense. The convection oven needs more juice to heat that bigger box.
A lot more. You're usually looking at 2,000 to 3,500 watts, especially for the bigger countertop or built-in units.
Wow, that's quite a jump.
It is. Now, they are more efficient than a standard conventional oven because the fan helps cook faster. But compared to the quick burst of an air fryer, they definitely draw more power, especially if you're running it for an hour to bake something.
All right, finally, let's talk money. Price tags. Air fryers seem pretty accessible.
Very much so. That's part of their appeal. You can get a really decent air fryer for anywhere between like $50 to $200. It's not a huge investment to try one out.
Convection ovens sound like they'd have a wider range.
Much wider. A basic countertop CO might start around $100, maybe a bit more. But once you get into larger capacities, more features like steam injection, precision temperature control, or obviously built-in models.
Then the price goes up fast.
Yeah, you can easily spend $500 to $1,000 or even more for high-end convection ovens. It's a different category of appliance investment.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground speed, size, results, effort, energy, cost. Let's try to pull this all together. How does someone listening decide which one fits their life?
Right, the decision matrix. Basically, you choose the air fryer if speed and convenience for small meals are your absolute top priority. If you want that healthier fried texture for snacks and sides. If you have limited counter space, maybe live alone or with one other person, or you just want something simple for quick jobs and reheating. It's the specialist tool for quick hits.
Got it. And the convection oven?
You choose the convection oven if versatility is key. If you do a lot of traditional baking bread, cakes, cookies, or roasting large cuts of meat or big batches of vegetables. If you often cook multi-dish meals for a family or guests and need the space to do things simultaneously, if consistency across different cooking methods is more important than achieving that super intense crisp, it's the reliable generalist.
So it really does come down to specialization versus generalization, doesn't it? Both use hot air, but for totally different ends. Sprinter versus marathon runner, like you said.
Exactly. One optimizes for speed on small tasks, the other for capacity and consistency on larger ones.
Which actually leads to a really interesting final thought for people to chew on. We know the air fryer uses way less power per hour, right?
Yeah.
1,500 watts versus the CO's 2,000, 3,500.
Right. Much lower wattage.
But since the air fryer forces you into batch cooking for anything more than a couple of servings...
With scaling problem.
Could it be that for a large amount of food, say, making appetizers for a whole party, the convection oven, even with its higher wattage, might actually end up being more time efficient because you can cook 3 trays at once?
And maybe, just maybe, more energy efficient overall than running that low wattage air fryer 6 or 7 times back to back.
Exactly. When does the specialist's limitation on scale actually make the generalist more efficient, even if it uses more power per minute? Something to think about.